Hi and welcome to my C4 test site. I've built a few samples here so you can see what kind of damage a C4 bomb will cause on this, and maybe using this as a tip to help you building a safer base. Take note that there are many different base designs that you should try in order to protect your base better against raids. Let's start with these foundations. What I've learned was that I should always place a C4 on a tall foundation if the walls above are stronger than concrete. If the walls are made of wood, I will place the C4 on the walls instead. In this case, you will probably need 3 C4 to break down these metal walls. Only 1 C4 was enough, so you can pass under the walls to the inner side of a building, and this is why you should not have tall foundations on the ground. Always try to build shorter foundations like this at the left side, in order to block the passage under the walls to anyone who destroys the foundations. Whoa, it did not go away with only 1 C4, so it will need a second one to be destroyed. This foundation's armor is a bit unpredictable and may require between 1 and 2 C4 bombs to disappear. Tall foundations seem to be easily destroyed with only 1 C4 mostly times though. Now let's try to destroy these walls by using a C4 on them, as hidden items are the weakest thing on this game. And as you can see, on this small sample of a base, I've placed a double wall separated from the outside wall to test if they will resist one explosion. If you build this way, your base is more likely to stay up if anyone tries to raid it with only 1 C4, which is always a risk. If wood is the only material you have, try to build a base this way. Now with this one, let's see if the walls behind the main ones will stay intact. This is the way I build sometimes, but never with wood, and you'll see the reason why. I've tested the same thing on these walls before recording this video, and what happened was a big damage dealt by the C4 placed in the same place I did now, meaning that the center walls were all destroyed by the explosion. I don't advise you to try this building technique if you are using wooden walls, because the raider can get lucky. And how about doors? We all know that doors are currently more weak than stone and metal walls, so they should have the same resistance as wooden walls. If you place 2 parallel doors, because you know that at least one will be easily taken down, this is what will happen. Yeah, it will destroy doors that are close to each other. And how about 2 doors that were placed even closer? Well, I guess you know the result. They disappeared. Let me show you. If you place a door here, don't place the second one in the same foundation as the previous one. Put it in another foundation instead, in order to protect more your base against one explosion. The further each door is, the better. See, the first door is gone, but the other is still up. You may want to build some stone walls here instead of wood, by the way. And how about garage doors? Are they stronger or weaker than normal doors? Well, there's the answer. Only 1 C4 was enough to put down these 2 doors. I really thought they were stronger than smaller doors before. Let's test this again to make sure, but now in 2 doors really close to each other. And it's the same thing, of course. It's not a good idea to place a door close by each other, so I advise you to do the same thing I did with doors. Build them far from each other instead. There is a good way to prevent players getting inside your base by destroying the doors only. I show you here what you could always do. That is, build 2 walls behind the door, especially if you have to log out or going far from your base. The raiders will always need more than only one C4 to pass through the entrance. What's the point of having doors, you may ask? They are still useful this way, because it's where players will most likely place a C4 if they see that the walls outside are stronger than the door itself. They will be disappointed though, and will need more C4 to get in. For making sure this trick is effective, do this always with stone or metal walls, never with wood. Now I want to check these C4 bombs will cause any damage to floors up here. Wood is never a good idea, unless you are in a rush to build something temporary. And how about building items that can be used for decoration? It looks like not even the stone items escaped one explosion, maybe because they are smaller in volume comparing to walls and even doorways. Will one C4 blow away ladders? They are made of iron. Yes, smaller things tend to be destroyed with one explosion. These are 4 different small buildings. I'm going to show you how this was built. It also has these walls inside. Say goodbye to your items or ownership stake. And how about this one? This building has 2 walls attached to each other. I'm gonna show you. If you build with wood, it's not really worth having double walls if you don't put a 3rd wall outside protecting these 2 walls. What I've done here is basically the same design as the first small base I destroyed a while ago, only with the door here and without the walls inside. Much probably someone will try the door, so build at least a wall inside blocking this door. And these are double walls again, but in stone. Try as much as possible to build your bases at least with stone. How can you build double walls here? By the way, it's easy. I prefer to use smaller foundations. Just place each wall on the 2 closest attachment points. Then you can place one here and even placing one like this if you want. This is what I usually do on my latest bases if I'm using stone at least. I have here a basic looking base, but with a little bit more protection than you might think. I didn't put walls above each other, so you can see what I've done with this. Why have I done this? Because if someone tries to blow up anything, you still have chances of having your things protected. How, you may ask? Anyone will still feel tempted to try the door, or even if they try one of these walls. Well, a few walls are gone, but they still had to pass through a few more, so they will probably use one more C4. Sometimes small bases have big treasures. It's always risk to spend C4 on this, but who knows? And these wooden walls are gone, but not these stone walls. This is a good idea to protect your ownership stake and your loot. These 8 stone walls I've placed will cost you about, in total, 80 stones. But it really worth the effort. This can be a temporary base, but you still have to think before you build. Let's go back to test C4 on foundations and see if this will be gone with only one C4 again. This one was gone with one explosion. Now I'm going to place a shorter foundation and test this. Imagine that there are walls built above it. It looks like foundations are a bit unpredictable, so you may want to use between 1 and 2 C4s in shorter foundations. And the last one. Imagine that part of your base is built like this, with some stuff behind the walls and something like that. I want to show you something about these window shutters. These shutters, even if they are placed in windowed stone walls, they will be gone easily like the doors, as they are made of wood. And it looks like the windowed wall was gone easily too, even if it was made of stone, so avoid adding these on your base first floors. How about these buttresses? I believe these can be a second protection to your walls. As you can see, the wooden walls are still up. Even with a little bit of damage, the buttresses work like a shield. Why not having all these around your base then? Even made of wood, you'll get the extra protection. This seems to be a good solution for avoiding an easy raid. Let's just summarize this. So against C4, you may want to start building lower foundations, as I said before. There are so many different bases designs and ways of raiding with C4 that you'll need to find out by yourself as the time goes by and you gain more experience in this game. Maybe a door here and then a few walls behind. This will need 2 C4 and this may need 3 to be destroyed. Then you should build a second wall behind this and more if possible. Remember to build with caution if you are building with wood, okay? These may be basic tips, but I think they are useful, at least for me. Happy building or happy raiding, enjoy the game and thanks for watching.